All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a pretty provocative idea. What if having no friends isn't actually a problem you need to fix? What if it's a sign of something, well, something else entirely? Let's explore why you have no friends.
So, let's just flip this whole idea on its head for a second. What if choosing to be alone isn't a social failure, but a sign of what psychology calls low social dependency? The core idea here is that your brain would literally rather have no connection at all than a fake one. This isn't about failure, it's about having high standards.
I mean, you know the drill. Ever since we were kids, we're taught that being popular is the goal. More friends, more parties, more likes, it's all supposed to equal more happiness. But as we're about to find out, for some people, that entire equation is just completely backward.
And this brings us right to our first big idea, the friendship paradox.
So check this out. A 2016 study found something they called a happiness paradox. We all assume more friends equals more happiness, right? But this study discovered that for people with higher intelligence, the opposite can actually be true. For them, socializing a lot can lower their life satisfaction. What energizes most people can actually be a total drain for them.
So, why is that? What's going on there? Well, this leads us to the classic argument for quality over quantity, or as we're calling it, depth over drama.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. The data really backs this up. We might have this picture in our heads that everyone else has this huge, bustling social circle. But in reality, research shows the average adult has just 2 close friends. Yeah, 2. So having a small, deep circle isn't weird. It's actually the norm.
To understand why, we can look at evolutionary psychology. There's this idea called the Savannah theory of happiness, and it suggests that our brains are basically still wired for the world of our ancient ancestors. We evolved in these small, tight-knit tribes where deep, trusting bonds weren't just nice to have, they were essential for survival. We're not built for a massive network of casual friends. And this explains so perfectly why people with higher intelligence often opt out of that constant social churn. It's not that they're antisocial, they're just highly selective. They're busy chasing these big, long-term goals, and they crave conversations with real depth and meaning. To them, small talk isn't just a warm-up, it's like static. It's just noise that drains their battery and pulls them away from what they feel truly matters.
Okay, but what if this whole focus on depth is actually a blind spot? That brings us to the counterargument, the other side of the coin, in a section we're calling More is More.
I mean, it feels good to say quality over quantity, doesn't it? It sounds so wise. But is that really the whole picture? What if focusing only on a couple of super deep connections is actually a pretty fragile way to live?
Yeah, I know. This quote from writer Ricardo Pachán is designed to be a little jarring, but it really forces us to question that comfortable old saying. His argument is that having many friends, even if they aren't all your soulmates, is absolutely crucial for a healthy, robust life. And here's the point. A larger social circle creates resilience. Think about it. If your one and only best friend moves away or just gets busy with life, your entire support system can just collapse overnight. But having a diverse network means you have different friends for different parts of your life, it opens the door for more spontaneous fun, and, this is a big one, it stops you from putting all of your emotional weight on just 1 or 2 people. Which brings us to a really critical point where those good intentions can go so wrong. We'll call this the high standards trap.
This is exactly where high standards can curdle and turn into perfectionism. That relentless search for the perfect friend who checks every single box, that's not a high standard, it's a trap. It's a form of self-sabotage that can lead you right into a corner of self-imposed isolation.
And research from Psychology Today shows exactly how this vicious cycle works. Perfectionists get so focused on achievement that they forget to nurture their relationships. Then they start to develop these distorted perceptions, thinking everyone is constantly judging them. This makes them act kind of cold or distant, which, surprise, pushes people away, creating the exact loneliness they were so afraid of in the first place. Okay, so if quality only is fragile, and quantity only can feel shallow, and perfectionism is a total trap, what's the answer? What are you supposed to do? This brings us to our final section, crafting your connections. It turns out, the solution isn't about picking a side in the quality versus quantity fight. The real key, the secret ingredient, is intentionality. It's about being deliberate and thoughtful, not just about your relationships with other people, but also about the relationship you have with yourself.
So what does that even look like in real life? Well, a fascinating recent study looked into this new idea called solitude crafting, and it gives us a clear roadmap. It's basically a three-step process. First, you reframe being alone as a positive thing. Second, you intentionally pick activities to do during that alone time. And third, you make a concrete plan to actually do them. It's about designing your solitude, not just putting up with it.
And this might be the most crucial distinction of all, the one between loneliness and solitude. See, loneliness is that painful feeling of absence, a lack. But solitude is a choice. It's the powerful, deliberate act of spending time with yourself to recharge and reflect. It's not the absence of others, it's the presence of self.
And the data shows that this approach really works. The people in the solitude crafting study saw their stress levels drop significantly, negative feelings went down, and positive feelings actually went way up. By being intentional with their alone time, they turned it into a source of strength, not a source of sadness.
So we'll leave you with this final question to think about. Whether your circle is big or small, are you actively building a social life that truly feeds your soul? Or are you just following a script, doing what you think you're supposed to do? Turns out, the answer is entirely up to you.